so Capcom released this Street Fighter bundle on the Switch, and it's really awesome. I think it's called the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Edition. Highly recommend it because it has the arcade versions of all the old Street Fighters. So it's got even the original Street Fighter, the one that really sucks. And then it has all 5 versions of Street Fighter 2, and then a few versions of Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter Alpha, and all that. So I remember the Street Fighter 2 games best. When Street Fighter 2 came out in the arcades, it was a really big deal. It was the first one-on-one tournament fighter game that was that big, from what I remember. At the time, I was more of a Mortal Kombat guy. Like when Mortal Kombat came out, I kind of forgot about Street Fighter for a bit. But I think of them now as 2 separate things. Like they're just they both have their own advantages. But I tend to actually, I'm wearing a Mortal Kombat hat right now. But I tend to enjoy Street Fighter a little bit more, because I feel like I'm able to mess around with that. I don't have to know the moves as much. There's some people who are really into Street Fighter that are like experts. Like I knew this one guy one time who would say like, hey, tell me what character you want me to pick. And you'd be like, okay, pick Zangief. And then he would pick him, and then he'd just kick your ass. Like you wouldn't even get a single hit in. So there's people like that who are like really good at the game. I've never been that good at Street Fighter, but I've always enjoyed it. So anyway, what Mike and I are going to do here is play a little bit of each Street Fighter 2. Because I've never done that before. I've never played all the Street Fighter 2s in a row, like in one sitting. So we're going to do like 1 or 2 matches in each one.
Well, that was the idea anyway, except...
Yeah, the thing is, with the online play, they only have Street Fighter 2 Turbo and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. The other ones we can only play by ourselves. However, we have a remote setup where Mike is able to see my screen, and he's going to watch me play the other games. And so basically I'm going to play those games by myself against the computer, and during the online ones that they made available, we'll compete together, if that makes any sense. So anyway, here's the whole package that they have, which is really awesome. Here's the original Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, or Turbo as I always knew it. I guess I was wrong. I guess it was Hyper Fighting. Hold on, I just want to confirm this. Let me get the cartridge out. Okay, so I have all the cartridges here, all the Super Nintendo cartridges, and on Super Nintendo, it was definitely called Street Fighter 2 Turbo. But I guess in the arcade, it was Hyper Fighting. Then there was Super Street Fighter 2, the new challengers, and then Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And then we have Alpha, Alpha 2, Alpha 3, 3 New Generation, then 3 Second Impact Giant Attack. See, I wasn't that familiar with these. And then there's Third Strike. So they even made a bunch of 3s as well. So anyway, I'm going to play the original Street Fighter 2. Oh, this is cool because it looks just like the border shows the...
By the way, what we're seeing right here, this is what I remember.
Yeah. I always love this intro. He punches the guy in the face, and then... What I was saying about the border, it's kind of like... It looks like the arcade.
Oh yeah, it's they call that the bezel.
Oh, okay, to make it look like you're actually in front of a machine. And they'd always change these intros. Oh fuck, hold on. How do I? Oh, it's select. That's so confusing. Okay, so anyway, as you can see, there's only 8 characters in this one.
Yeah, that's how I remember it.
Yeah, I pick Ryu, and we're going to India to fight Dalsum. So this is where it all started. Unless you count the original, but that didn't really...
Yeah. I wouldn't count that, because that game isn't what popularized it. This is the one that popularized it. And also I can tell how much slower it is.
Yeah, it's slower than the ones that succeeded it.
It's funny, from streaming, I find so many games where they use those same effects. Okay, that flame animation is in like all the Capcom games.
Exactly, yeah. When this game came out, I wasn't really into it when it first happened, because I was into Final Fight, which was also Capcom, and I didn't because the idea of tournament fighters were so new. I didn't understand the concept of why would you only fight against one person at a time. Because I only knew beat 'em ups.
Right.
So it took a while for me to understand that this is like a different thing. And I also, this is really funny to think that this would be my complaint, but my complaint was that it's not realistic. Like, why would a guy shoot fire and stretch his arms out and stuff? Because, you know, Final Fight was kind of like...
You of all people that likes Godzilla and...
Yeah, exactly.
And like Dracula.
Yeah, because I think with me, my problem was I wanted it to be like Final Fight, where it's basically like it's set in reality, where it's just two guys hitting the streets and just taking down a bunch of bullies. Where it's like, you know, Final Fight, not that it's realistic, but it's kind of set in a real world. But Street Fighter has a fantasy element to it where people can, you know, shoot fire and stuff. Not to mention like Blanca. I mean, he's like a monster.
Yeah.
And just to me, it kind of seemed weird. It's like, okay, what's the point here? Is this supposed to be like a street fight, or is it supposed to be like some kind of weird, you know, fantasy thing? And that's what it is. It's just it's like a fantasy fighting game.
Yeah.
So in other words, I take back every complaint that I had as a kid because I think it's awesome.
See, it's funny, as you've gotten older, there's all these things that bothered you as a kid. You felt all weird about Power Rangers, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And not that those things bothered me. It was just kind of like, it didn't appeal to me. I was like, okay, well, that's fine. You know, I don't really... You know, I didn't mind it, but I wasn't really interested. By the time Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo was out, then I was into it.
Now, as far as the original Street Fighter goes, the crappy one, what I want to know is if the arcade version of the original Street Fighter is better than the CD version.
No, I can tell you as a matter of fact, First of all, I played the actual arcade at Galloping Ghost in Chicago. It's a big arcade.
Okay.
So it's really hard to pull off the moves. The controls are really slow and stiff. It's just not.
So they're both crap.
It's crap all across. The original Street Fighter just sucks. That's all there is to it. But you know what? You had to start somewhere. So now we're going to go into Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition.
So what's the deal with this one? Are there different characters in Champion?
So they added the characters who were like the boss ones that you couldn't play as. There was Sagat or Sagat, which the game just timed out and made me select right now. There's Vega, Balrog, and M. Bison, who's the very last character. So basically, the Champion Edition is just where you can play as the boss characters.
I remember going through the regular game, and I did beat this at, well, you know, the World Warrior one, like as a kid, and I remember getting to... he must be in that because that's the one I played. So I guess Sagat's in the World Warrior one. Like if you're playing the regular game, we'd always make Bob Saget jokes.
Bob Saget, yeah,
because he was so popular at the time with Full House and with America's Funniest Home Videos.
And by the way, that's why I pronounce him Saget, because I think it might be Sagat. I'm not sure, but I know Bob Saget, so I just figured it would be the same, but maybe it isn't.
And by the way, Bob Saget, if you'd like to come on the show and play Street Fighter with us anytime.
Yeah, do you think he'll play as Saget?
I want to see. Yeah, that's how stupid. Like, you know, they get Mike Tyson to play Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I want Bob Saget to play as.
You know what? I mean, it's stupid, but it's so funny. I would like to see more celebrities do that kind of thing. Like when we had Mac here playing as himself in Page Master. He's like, "Oh, I always wanted to play with myself." Yeah, he's hilarious.
I told you I want John Goodman to play the Flintstones.
Yeah.
It's like the most unlikely celebrity, to play their games.
Yeah. So I gotta admit, I usually stick to the same characters that I know. So I've never actually played as Sagat, I don't think. Like maybe once or twice.
I think you actually pick Chun-Li a lot as well, don't you?
I do, yeah. It's probably mostly like Guile, Ryu, and then Chun-Li. I think it just depends. Like, do I want to use the fast kick, or do I want to use the Hadoukens, or do I just want to be Guile because he's cool?
I with her, I always end up using the thing where you can like jump on the guy's head with your foot.
Yeah, I usually don't pull that off, but that is a good move. I always thought that was neat too as a kid when I saw where like when they're beaten and their faces are all bloodied and everything. I never saw a game like that. I'm gonna play one more match as this. Obviously I lost, but I want to play as somebody who I actually picked. All right, I'm gonna play as M. Bison. Let's try him out.
Raul Julia.
Yeah. Great casting though. I mean, he was a great M. Bison. Yeah, he's got. I mean, that move is hard to compete with. Especially, have you fought M. Bison on the computer? Like if you play the first game?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I like at that time back then I did play it, and I had beaten the game back then when I was like 12 or 13 years old.
Yeah.
Haven't done it since then, but
yeah, he's hard. He's really hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because he keeps doing that move. And he just does it like back and forth, like all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy. How do you counter that, I wonder?
I don't know. I mean,
jump over it? Like,
yeah, I guess. I'm not sure. This is what I always think of as the Top Gun stage. Whereas the music, which sounds like Mighty Wings, which is a song from Top Gun, by Cheap Trick. They have a song here that sounds just like Mighty Wings, but they used it as the Ken theme instead. And it's kind of like a theory of mine that maybe it was originally intended for this scene because they were making it like Top Gun, and then they just decided like, okay, well, let's not be so obvious. Let's change that out for the stage. I mean, it's really just the opening parts, like dun 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 dun. It just sounds like the main riff from Mighty Wings.
Right. Did that Top Gun 2 movie happen? Did that come out or didn't it?
Oh boy, no. Right now it's postponed till December. Till guess what? Christmas. It's postponed till Christmas, and as if Top Gun is a Christmas movie, because some movies are releasing on the actual day. Like actually today, Scooby-Doo was supposed to come out in theaters, but it's coming out at home instead. Yeah, it's basically like you would pay like almost like the same ticket price as a movie, but it would just be a rental.
I didn't even know they were making a new Scooby-Doo. Let me know if in the movie they have any inclusion of Scooby-Dum, because he was always my favorite.
Was there really a Scooby-Dum?
Yeah, there was Scooby-Doo, there was Scrappy-Doo, everybody knows Scrappy, but then there was also Scooby-Dum, which is like more obscure, like idiot, like he was like the idiotic version of Scooby-Doo.
Do you remember Dino Mutt?
I do. I have a Captain Falcon and Dino Mutt lunchbox. And
I shit you not, Captain Falcon is in this one.
Oh, did I say Captain Falcon? I meant Blue Falcon.
Oh, Blue Falcon is in the new Scooby-Doo.
I've been playing F-Zero GX, which I have sitting right here, so Captain Falcon's on my mind.
Okay, well anyway, I just got my ass kicked in Champion Edition. Let's play together now. So let's fight each other in Turbo or Hyper Fighting. I mean, it's basically like this is the fast version where they sped it up a little bit.
Right.
And I remember when this came out, I remember it was in Nintendo Power, and I was thinking to myself, like, what? Another Street Fighter 2? Like, what's the point now? It's just a little bit faster, or what?
This is the one that I didn't play. See, I played just the regular one.
Yeah.
It was just, I think, just World Warrior, I think, was the one I played.
So what did you play it on, usually?
Super Nintendo.
Oh, that wasn't on Super Nintendo. They put out... Oh, no, you're right. That was on... They put that... They put the original on Super Nintendo, and then they skipped Champion Edition, because Genesis did Champion Edition, and then Super Nintendo did the Turbo one.
Yeah.
But it is funny how when you play the Turbo version, and then you go back to playing the original, it really is a whole lot slower.
Slower, yeah. I didn't know about the Turbo thing until like much later, and I was like, wait, what? There's another version that's faster? That's cool. Like, it's a cool thing that they did that. But
yeah.
when I played Street Fighter, I played it with a friend who was like into it, and this is back in like probably what 92 or something. Like it was fun. I enjoyed it back then, and I would always be Chun-Li, and we'd get into it, and we'd that was the first experience with that kind of thing. And I remember going down the road to the arcade, and it would have I guess we're picking the same thing again.
Yeah, one more time.
Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
Yeah, or Hyper Fighting, as it's called here.
Hyper Fighting. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we're playing like this online thing, and then it does this thing where it's like it'll choose. Like I pick one game, James picks one game, and then it randomly chooses one between the two that we pick.
But yeah. So what were you saying?
Oh, no, that's about it. Yeah, I used to play the slower version, and I didn't know any different, like, until much later that there was a turbo version.
It's sort of like, you know how games today, they'll have, like, an update that
Yeah.
just downloads. Either you download it or it downloads automatically, whatever, but it's sort of like that, where they would just keep releasing new versions of games, but the only way to get the new version back then, of course, you have to just buy it again. But I just remember it was such an odd thing where I just kept thinking as a kid, why don't they make Street Fighter 3? Why do they keep, like, making new versions of Street Fighter 2? To the point where it just got really annoying. Even though now it's kind of cool, you look back and you have all these versions. I mean, one could argue that if you have the latest, if you have Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, there's no reason to go back and play any of the others, but at the same time, there's a nostalgic value to it. But anyway, okay, so you beat me as Chun-Li there.
Okay.
Yeah, I could tell you play as Chun-Li a lot.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I just always would pick her. Sometimes I would be Blanca back then.
All right, so now we're going to move on to Super Street Fighter 2, but this one has no online player, so I'm going to do this one against the computer. This one, basically what it did was it added, like, a few more characters. And this opening screen I always thought was really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And this isn't just the arcade. They put this on the Super Nintendo version too, and it looks pretty much like this.
Yeah.
It was like really good graphics, I thought, for Super Nintendo, for a home console. Okay, so anyway, they added Fei Long, DJ, Cammy, and there's one other one. T-Hawk. I guess I'll pick Cammy. So I think there was very small differences. I apologize, I don't know all the differences, but the main difference here was that they added these new characters. And that's great, the computer also picked a new one, so we get to see two of them right now.
Okay.
I always like this stage here, by the way, with the party going on in the background. So I forget Cammy's moves, but I know she did the spin. Oh, he's not even going to let me do anything. Oh, he's just going to kick my ass. Oh, man. Whoa. Come on. Ah, fuck. She has like a spinning move that I just can't pull off right now.
Yeah, it might be like down forward in one of the buttons or something, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try it out. Yeah, you're right. It's a down forward kick. Boom. Come on. Oh, fuck. All right. What kind of move was that?
Background don't give a shit that they're just like beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, exactly. They're all just like the band is just jamming and they're just enjoying it. All right, so let's play Fei Long. I believe he's one of the new ones. I think I may know his move.
So he definitely looks like he's inspired by Bruce Lee.
Yeah, I mean the way his like posture right there is definitely seems to be mimicking the style of Bruce Lee. Yeah, and Balrog was like Mike Tyson, because later on we play as Balrog, and we mentioned that he's like Mike Tyson because he's got the boxing gloves and everything.
Bruce Lee versus Jackie Chan, who would win?
Oh, in real life, Bruce Lee. I mean, that's what Jackie Chan would say too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know any of his moves. I'm just trying to survive. Yeah, the computer's pretty tough, unless you really know what you're doing.
I've always had the most trouble in these games figuring out how to counter other people's attacks. And whenever I would play somebody who was good at that, it always would be really frustrating because I'm really bad at countering like attacks.
Fei Long's victory stance is really funny when he just shakes and goes, "Whoa!" So I was going to pick more characters, but I won, so...
That's the bluest water in the world. I always wanted to just jump into that and go swimming.
Yeah, Fei Long's working out for me right now. Wow, did you see that move?
No idea how you did that, huh?
Yeah, I set him on fire with my foot, and is this a draw? Wow.
Double KO.
Double KO. I don't see that too often.
Yeah, me neither. There's still another round, though. Come on, win it.
All right, I'm going to try.
He's going to electrocute your ass.
Oh, he finished me off with the electric.
I called it.
Okay, well, anyway, let's move on to... Oh, never mind. There's...
Oh, yeah, one more round.
Wow, okay, I thought we did 3 matches.
The first one was the double KO. It's close. Oh, shit! You might win it. Come on.
Oh! So close! Oh, wow.
I thought you were going to win that. Look how close that was.
All right, well, now let's do the last one, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And in this one, Mike and I are going to do multiplayer. So, yeah, let's pick like some of the new characters, I guess. So they added... The main difference is... Let me lower my volume a bit. Oh, did it just pick for me?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. It didn't give... It gave me 5 seconds to fucking pick.
It's timed. Because it's
That's
arcade.
ridiculous. All right, let's do... Because I wanted to show the new characters. So now we're moving on to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. This is one that was released on...
You didn't pick.
Fuck, never mind. Wait a minute. What? All right, never mind.
You were talking. You didn't pick. You have to pick.
Jeez, I can't even fucking talk. So I don't even know what this game is. So you got to be fast to pick the game, and then you got to be fast to pick the character. I think I got it now.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what we're playing right now.
It said like Third Strike, I think.
Okay. I don't even know like who these characters are. What the fuck we're playing?
It's one of the Street Fighter games.
Yeah, I mean it looks cool, but I don't know this game.
All right, well there's a game I've never seen.
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to play those sometime, but
oh god, somebody else. Tried to
oh, what the fuck? All right, can we quit out of this? All right, okay. All right, wow, what a shit show. There we go, and we got it. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna be Cammy.
Okay, you're Cammy, and I'm DJ.
All right. I'm not gonna be able to do any moves because I don't know how to do shit.
Yeah, you try. I think it's like a back forward. That's the thing about Street Fighter. Yeah, there you go.
I did something. I did that.
Yeah, there's usually like a pretty easy way to like guess. If you just do a down forward or a back forward, it usually does something. Or some characters have that like tap. You like tap the button really fast.
Right.
Yeah, I've always found these games very intuitive. They're not really like, if you don't really know the moves, it doesn't matter a whole lot. I feel like sometimes knowing the moves actually kind of hurts a little bit because then you're too busy trying to pull something, like pull off a move, when if you just go up to the person and try to do a throw or something, you'd have a better chance.
Like, ooh.
Yeah, like what you did just there. I mean, that was
now
like
I have no idea how I did that, but...
Yeah, I think it was like one of those low, close range attacks. By the way, let's do one more because this is it's going by quick.
So, did you get the chance to play a lot of these in the actual arcade, or like which ones do you remember playing in the arcade? And
oh, you know, to be honest, not many. I didn't really play them in the arcade as much.
Okay.
But, well, I mean, not as much when they were new. I feel like I've played them more now than I had.
Well, how
like,
about
you know,
that? How about that?
like
Like in your life at this point in your life, like have you played most of these now somewhere, like a convention or?
Yeah, it seems like at a convention, it's almost standard to have at least one of the Street Fighter 2s. There's like, you know, barcades and stuff like that where, you know, Street Fighter 2 is such a common game. And I'm trying to think, what was the other part of the question?
Just that, you know, if there's any like that you didn't ever play in the arcade.
Tons of them, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think nowadays I played almost all of them, but back then it was very rare to see. Even now, it's very rare to see the original Street Fighter. And I've tried playing in the arcade and on a TurboGrafx 16.
Do you mean the original Street Fighter 2, or do you mean the shitty like Street Fighter?
Yeah, the original shitty Street Fighter, because it's bad. It's like you keep trying to pull off moves and like nothing happens.
I think they have that at Fun Spot.
Yeah, and you kicked my ass, by the way. Oh yeah, I've never been to Fun Spot, but yeah, they're huge, right?
Yeah, Fun Spot is this huge place in New Hampshire, and it's like one of the best retro arcades. But they're having trouble right now with nobody being able to go there. But I guess everybody's
absolutely.
having trouble.
I played the original Street Fighter at Galloping Ghost. That's in Chicago. Galloping Ghost is the biggest arcade that I've seen. Because I've never been to Fun Spot, but yeah, Galloping Ghost I remember playing the original Street Fighter there and was just like, wow, it's the original. I've never seen this. Actually, to tell you the truth, I might have seen the original Street Fighter when it was new, like once in like a roller skating rink. But then when Street Fighter 2 came out, it was all Street Fighter 2. I mean, nobody even talked about the original.
Right.
But anyway,
I think. Well, you know what? Saying all this, talking about like original. I think you know what became before even that game though. I'm pretty sure the first fighting game was your favorite game, Karate Champ.
yeah. So when I say it was like it was the first big one-on-one fighting game. Like it was the first one to really make like a difference and change gaming. Because Karate Champ, like, you know, that doesn't count. It's like those were all those shitty. Remember Pit Fighter? You know, it's like like there's all these really bad ones. But Street Fighter 2 was like the first one to like break boundaries. So yeah, anything left to say about any of the Street Fighter 2s?
No, just I'm not a huge fighting guy, so this is like I played a little bit of it when the Street Fighter craze was going on back then in like the early '90s, but then I pretty much fell out of playing fighting games. The fighting game that I got into more so was Smash Brothers, which is a totally different style of playing, But yeah, this is cool that they actually put all these games on here. One thing I will say, it would be nice if you could play all the different games that are available in the online. Maybe they'll add that eventually, but...
So maybe another time, I guess we'd have to be in the same room, but we could, at some point, when we're able to, we could play the original Street Fighter, the shitty one, and maybe some of the Street Fighter 3s or alphas.
I'm not super upset that I can't play the original Street Fighter right now. I'm gonna admit to you.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point.